Good evening, and welcome to an extra special episode of Drive with Dom because this time it's not Dom driving. This time it's a much better driver, a fellow by the name of Marc Coltelli, who happens to be a relatively recent addition to Rebel Scum endurance racing team, and we just raced at Atlanta Motorsports Park together along with Andre LaFond and my other good buddy Elias Shirley from up the Boston way. Anyway, here we are once again at Supercharged, and this time it's the same race that I was just in, but it's Marc's heat, and it's Marc driving. So, Marc is basically, he came in third, I think, in the league round one, which was the last 6 weeks we just did. So Marc is a much faster driver than me. Just in general, he's sort of more pro-level driver and has substantial racing experience, both in karting and cars. So he's a good driver and knows what he's doing. So I'm very pleased that we get the chance to see some of his footage. He sent me his race here, which, according to the title, appears to be race one. So I don't know if that means heat one of race one or just the first of his two heats. So let's go with the assumption that this is the first of his two heats. Anyway, off we go. Into lap one, which I took the time to manually time already. I'm very interested in seeing what he's doing differently than me. So I see a few different things going on. I'm going to say, looking at lap one, it looks like the track is cold. There's taking kind of big rounder turns. But Marc also mentioned in his text to me that he was having, the kart he had big understeer problems. So I think we're going to see that in action because it kind of looked like he was fighting, and right there he's fighting the kart. So you can see him fighting the kart into T1. Watch. Now this could be cold tires, but he is pushing hard there. You can see right there, bam, like he slides a good 2 feet of understeer laterally. Anyway, getting awfully close to that wall. So the first lap is a 46.28, kind of to be expected on cold tires. All right, so off into lap two, Marc soldiers. All right, one thing right off the bat that I can see that he's doing differently than me is he's doing kind of more the line I was doing before I started changing my line here, where he's going bam right into here and then riding it tightly up and then coming off below and sort of going across. Here we can see him fighting cold tires. The thing that's interesting is he takes a more neutral approach to the double apex here, I noticed earlier, and we'll probably see that. But there he's running wide because cold tires. Watch. Kind of balloons off the end here, gets his back end a little too far out, and then he has to compensate down here. Okay, one huge difference is the width he uses out here. I do not. I try to keep the kart a lot tighter in, and I noticed that he keeps it much wider out here. And I think he has a kind of a different thing going on down here and into here as well. Here he's fighting the kart because he's got that push problem with this cart. You can see it right here. Push, 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 push. So what I was assuming I would see, and I think I did see when I watched this before, is he adapts his line and power inputs to the fact that the cart understeers like a pig. And over the course of the session, you will see messy stuff get unmessier as he figures out, okay, well, this is how I got to do it. So lap 2 is an improvement, 45.91, despite smashing the wall, understeering into the exit. But he's really pushing hard through that turn. And then again, like I said, taking a really tight line up this hill, riding the center up, doing the short thing, as opposed to the wide thing, which is what I'm trying to do, or late apex thing. Here, like I said, neutral kind of through there, a little bit too much, coming out flat with his tail, and you saw... All right, watch. Back end kicks out a little bit too much, I think. It's too vertical and catches the wall a little bit back there. Comes out wide here because he wants to. And then he does a nice big round arc pretty much every time there. So I think he's getting through that part more. Here, this part here. I think this part here, I take a very super tight thing here as well, but it looks to me like he's a little bit wider and a little bit rounder. Just carrying it right back over. There, understeer. Boom. That's what he's fighting. Nonetheless, 45.53. Improvement again, despite banging into the wall again on exit, but we'll get there. So he's sticking to his guns on the entry into 2, going up the tight line. Here he's getting, as the tires warm up, yep, much, much, much better. Much better. Letting it bounce off wide. That's how he does it. Super nice wide round approach there. Again, struggling with that, but didn't hit the wall this time. Just kind of modulated his throttle and kind of sawed his way through it. Same thing going on here, fighting that. So that's improvement, 45.23. Off we go. Not hitting the wall. Good run up the first part. Okay. So this is what I mean, by the way, about neutral. So this turn is 2 apexes. It is a square. It's kind of like a box, and you're turning around a box. There's a flat part that's kind of like maybe 2 cart lengths. And then the sort of the diamond corners. All right, anyway. How you approach it kind of matters. And as I think improving on this lap, for me, what I found is, okay, the bad part is you don't want to be narrow here, because if you're narrow into this corner, of course, that means that you have to pop kind of wide of the second of the 2 apexes of the box. So obviously, if you approach this box from the inside, you're going to have to either go very straight, high up to loop back around, or you're going to just kind of pop wide. So you want to hustle the cart out to the right and then, get across, and then make sure that you're tight to the second apex. Marc is doing kind of a neutral approach where he's not necessarily, he is giving preferential treatment to the second apex, but he's taking a very much more middle of the track entry. You can see he sort of widens out here, but he doesn't go out much further than mid-track. and he's going to take a nice narrow flat run that's very tight to the line, sort of across the middle, sort of not necessarily giving preference to the second apex as much as I would necessarily. See, very round, boom, boom, boom. I personally love that way he did that, and that looked great. So I'm going to go with that's very, very good. Okay, this is the push. Bink. All right, let's go back. So he's really hammering it through that corner. So this is great right here. You can see the cart hopping. So with go-karts, you get this kind of lateral hop. You get hopping like that when you're overloading the cart laterally. When you're placing just too much G's on it. What's kind of going on there is the tire's going grab, release, grab, release, grab, release, grab, release, grab, release, grab, release. And you're simultaneously turning while putting down power. So the grab release is coming from two things. It's coming from the power that Marc is putting down, and it's coming from the lateral force that he's exerting on the cart in terms of lateral load. So you get this crazy hopping. He's just basically keeping the cart right on that edge there. Turns it back over, smoothly drives it through, and he's trying to manage that, and he does a much better job there. He just kind of clips it, but still, that costs him. Takes the cart out to the traditional wide line, takes that normally, and then manages to get through there that time without clipping the wall or pushing too badly, but he does it by being nice and conservative. So, if I'm not mistaken, that was a 44.91. So he's now starting to move. So sub 45 is fast for the day. For comparison, my best lap time for Heat 1 was the same as the lap time he just ran. I like that. That was nice. See, there's a little bit of rubber surfing going on here. Watch. Yeah. That's right where you want to be. There. So he lets the cart run out wide. That's an interesting choice. And it's obviously working for him since he's faster than me in general. And there, oh no, cart will not hold. So, despite everything, that unfortunately pushes him back up to a 45.04. But let us not despair. It ain't over. We are all of 6 laps in, and we're working on our 7th here, so. I feel like Marc's approach right there, here, is very similar to mine. And I say that because when I watch Nick Trenchy's, or Nick Speed's footage, he's got something else going on here that's working very well for him, by the way. Also, you've got 3 different weight categories going on here, right? You got me that's like 165 or like whatever, Then you got Nick, who's probably, I don't know what Nick weighs, but he weighs a lot more than me. And then you've got Marc, who kind of is a normal guy weight. He's not skinny or anything. but he's not particularly tall. So I think in the order of things, Mark's probably lighter than me, than Nick. I think. Anyway, point being, Nick is the heaviest of the three, and I think he has a really nice looking run through here. But what it seems like Mark and I both do is how we manage power on the way down here. Right there. Yeah, he seems to lift at the same time as me, and he seems to have the same general flow as me through that whole section. It's just that his line is rounder, but that also seems to be very much a function of that screwed up cart, the screwed up cart that he has, which is causing him to endlessly smash into the wall right there. And same over here, where he's struggling with the same push right here. So he has to manage the speed. All right, so that would be 45.21, lap 7. All right, so I think at this point we say goodbye to the crappy lap times and the hitting of the wall and stuff like that, and we get off into the, okay, God damn it, I'm halfway through the session. I haven't accomplished a darn thing other than putting a 44.9 up, which I'm sure at this point he's frustrated. So let's see what happens as the tires are now probably fully warm, and he's going to get his groove back. Very nice tight there. Okay, like I said, he's doing the very tight up the hill short line. Nice. Okay, keeps it mid-track. Good. So far, so good. This is solid. Out wide in the way that he likes it, which I don't. Kind of manhandled it through there, but it worked beautifully. Oh, shit. Oh, well. However, 44.69. Okay, now we're moving. So that was a 44.69 with a pretty solid wall smack in there too. So not bad. There, he lets the line come off a little wider there, which was kind of different. Sort of peeled off of it sooner. Narrow through there, just rides the rubber, surfs it kind of. He does a really good job of being nice and round through there. Watch here. Let me see if I can get this right back to Schneikes. Sorry. There's not a lot of granularity on this using OBS as a playback device. So here, at the max width of this turn, so front wheels are pointing directly straight at, yeah. So he does a really good job of using width, and then if you notice there, it was one piece. The turn back here just did a really beautiful job of nailing this right there. He found the angle well. And again, you can see like that super exaggerated run out wide here all the way out to the wall here. This I do not do anymore. I sort of take a more middle run and then manage throttle through here. But maybe this giant S kind of shape that he's taking just maybe a function of the push on the cart. Because remember, normally he ends up pushing wide to the left once he's kind of past this apex, trying to keep it inside. So maybe just by going super wide, he's just trying to defang the turn. And it looks like that's exactly what's happening. And that actually worked beautifully. So he found the angle for that. So I think this one here was 44.97. 44.95. Right. lap there, but I don't know if that costs him much. Again, great width, great apex there. Really nice apex back there. Nice. Okay, there. You can see, like, you can just watch. Look at the push. Look right here at apex. Oh, God, he's just like, it's like the whole front end of the cart is going sideways. And he's managing it with the... so he's kind of... he's dealing with it. Anyway. So if that's the lap that we just were watching, did I somehow manage to jump through? Yeah, I guess I jumped forwards. Yeah. Yeah, we were going around that apex right there. Push. Boom. But he manages it beautifully there. So anyway, back down to a 44.7. Good exit. Didn't hit the wall. Really tight, really tight. Clip, clip. Looking good up the hill. Tight apex there. Middle of the track, kind of good width. Yep, nice. Yep. 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 Okay. Sure. Big round, deal with it. Go for it. Send it. Off we go. Bada bing, 44.53. Fastest lap of the night. Well done, Mark. Well, fastest lap of the session. I'm sure he does faster in the second heat, where he doesn't have a cart that wants him to go left. And while that had been going swimmingly, that results in a rather disappointing 45.3 because of the wall smash. And here we catch up to some traffic. We get to see some... we get to have some fun, actually. Here we go. Nice pass. Off we go. Nice exit. Had a decent run there. Managed to avoid the wall despite the push. 45.3 because of traffic. And then unfortunately, I think this is checkered flag. Or... yeah, so I think unfortunately he gets the power cut right as you go to the start finish line. You are done. Well, that was very educational and very interesting. And I am very thankful that Mark shared that with us for us to enjoy, study, and learn from. So, from a learning things perspective, I'm going to have to ask him some questions because I can't tell if some of the decisions he made were based on the fact that he had a cart that had a pushy front end, or because that's just the way he likes it. So anyway, thanks, Mark. Well done. This seemed to be an unusual run. for Mark, because what he's communicated to me is that generally speaking, he lights up the tires pretty hard and puts up a fast lap in the first 4 laps. Here, he did not get his fastest lap until the very, very end, lap 11 to be specific, and of 12. And yeah, and you could see when he was trying to light up the tires, all that he was accomplishing was pushing through the tighter radius curves. The one at the end of the race to the start finish, and then the one before that, sort of around the turn towards the end of the start finish. Anyway, so it's hard to tell if that was deliberate or because of kart, but nonetheless, very interesting, very, very good driving, and thanks for sharing, Mark.